The silver tore out of him like something that had been waiting to be born. That was the moment Broca would spend the next 6 moon cycles trying to forget. Not the Venom Titan's collapse. Not the screaming from the corridor. Just Owen Mercer, standing in the nursery light, arms wide, silver boiling from every pore of his skin, and his face completely, terrifyingly calm. She had not moved. She remembered that, too, with a particular shame that had begun to turn her moss brown at the edges. She had not moved. 3 cycles earlier, the nursery had smelled like warm clay and new breathing. Outside, a storm was pressing against the membrane walls in long, slow pulses, the kind that made the young ones murmur in their sleep. Inside, the air was thicker than outside air, intentionally so, designed by Grumok architects across 6 generations to hold heat and sound in equal measure, to make the walls feel like skin rather than stone. It worked. Every member of the Forge Matron Order knew it worked, because when you pressed your palm to the membrane, you could feel the heartbeats of the brood inside, faint and fast and perfect. Broca kept her ink well on the ledge beside the entry seal. She had kept it there for 11 cycles, through 4 post-litters and 1 contested clan succession. It was a small, squat thing, carved from old root stone by her grandmother, the kind of object that did not age so much as settle. The ink inside was always full. She had made a private rule of it. A full well meant the records were current. The records being current meant no child had been overlooked. It sat full now, black and still and untroubled. Owen Mercer sat on the floor near the second alcove, which was where he always sat when she allowed him in for morning record keeping. He had been assigned to her as a diplomatic companion through some arrangement she had never fully understood, some arrangement between his delegation and the Forge Council, and she had accepted it the way she accepted weather, without much opinion and with low expectations. He was small, soft, by the standard she understood. His limbs did not have the particular density that Grumok bodies carried as a default. He wore no crest, no bone plate, nothing that announced him as anything other than what he appeared to be. He waves at the gods. They don't know what to do. That was true. It had always been true. The gods assigned to the nursery entry would stand at full ceremonial attention when senior Forge Matrons passed. When Owen Mercer passed, they would stiffen, then glance at each other, then do something with their faces that Broca could only describe as diplomatic paralysis. He was, she had decided early on, decorative. Not cruel decorative. Not offensive decorative. Simply present without function, the way Satan stones are smooth and somewhat pleasant to look at without being useful for anything. She had told Forge Warden Gress as much 2 cycles ago. The human is harmless. He listens without offering input. He is possibly allergic to our pollen. I have observed him sneeze 7 times in the upper garden. Gress had made a sound that may have been agreement. Broca had moved on. Truth is, she had also found his listening useful, in ways she was slow to admit. When the clan succession dispute had made every Grumok in the compound take sides with loud, grinding certainty, Owen had sat on the floor of this same alcove and listened to her speak for almost a full work cycle without once offering a solution. He had not tried to fix anything. He had simply absorbed it, the way rootstone absorbs water, quietly, without display. She had felt lighter after. She had not told him that either. The inkwell sat full. The nursery breathed. Owen Mercer was writing something small and neat in his field record. His pen made no sound. The attack did not announce itself. That was the first thing Broca's mind catalogued. Later, when her mind began the work of cataloging it all, the Venom Titan entered through the storm membrane. No patrol alarm, no entry seal fracture, no delay. It was simply not there, and then it was. A mass of chitin and compressed toxin glands the size of the nursery's entire first chamber, moving with the particular terrible patience of a creature that had not yet decided which target was worth the most damage. The alcove children woke first. The sound they made was not crying. It was the high, formless noise that young Grumok make before they have language for fear. Broca knew that sound. Every Forge Matron knew it. It landed in the chest like a struck bell. Around her, the duty guards moved. Not toward the Titan, she noticed. Away from it, repositioning, angling for the exit corridors, buying time for orders that had not yet arrived. reasonable, trained, correct. By every protocol she had written herself into the nursery defense records. She looked at Owen. He was not repositioning. He counted under his breath. Stopped at 3. The ink well trembled on the ledge. The black surface inside it rippled. Once, like something beneath it had exhaled. The Titan turned toward the alcove sound. And then something that had been sitting quietly on the floor of the second alcove stood up. Owen Mercer headbutted the faceplate apart. No running start. No weapon drawn. He simply stepped into the space in front of the Titan's primary strike head, dropped his chin, and drove forward with the full mass of a skull that was, it turned out, not the soft thing she had assumed. The instinct was old, she would learn later. When the body anticipates impact, the chin drops automatically, the back of the skull leads, bone thicker than any other point on a human head absorbing force that the face would not survive. 600 million years of threat memory compressed into a single mechanical gesture she had watched him make in under a second. The faceplate cracked through. The Titan recoiled, and that was when the silver came. It erupted from him the way water erupts from pressurized stone, not in a spray but in a directed current. Nanits burning silver white as they hit air, and they were moving before they were visible, already shaping themselves into something the eye could not categorize as weapon or shield because it was both simultaneously. The swarm hit the Titan's torso before the Titan had finished recoiling from the headbutt. It hit the secondary toxin glands next, then the joint junctions at the 4 rear legs. It was not violence the way Broca understood violence, the clean geography of it, the before and after. It was more like watching something be edited out of existence from the inside. Her moss died on 3 patches along her left shoulder. She did not notice until later. The Titan hit the membrane wall and did not rise. The silver swarm contracted, folding back, returning, recycling itself back through Owen's skin in a motion that looked almost administrative. Efficient. Done. He was bleeding from somewhere above his left eye. She could see it running. He did not appear to have noticed. Which one of you gave the order? His voice was not loud. It was a question with geometry. It moved through the chamber and found every face in it, including hers. No one answered. He looked at the Titan's remains for a moment. Then he walked to the alcove, crouched down, and said something too quiet for her to hear to the children inside. Whatever it was, the high formless noise stopped. 6 moon cycles later, Broca would still be keeping the ink well on the ledge. But she no longer kept it full as a record of oversight. She kept it full because, on the morning after, she had found it overturned on the floor, the ink spreading in a wide dark pool across the stone around her feet, and she had stood over it for a long time without picking it up. Some things, she had decided, should be allowed to spill. The moss on her shoulder had grown back. It had bloomed small flowers, which she did not discuss with anyone. The last entry in her field record from that morning, written in Owen's small neat hand before the Titan came through the wall, read, brood count nominal. All children present. No anomalies noted. He bled for me, then asked if the children were frightened. If you're still sitting quietly with that, wondering what else a human carries without being asked, so is Broca.